What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful Sunday here outside Chicago. I just fired up my large big green egg and today we'll be making beef ribs. I've got the egg set up for indirect cooking, so I have it filled with lump charcoal. I've got the plate setter on top, the grate on top of that. I also have some post oak wood chunks mixed in the charcoal to create that additional smoke. So I'm going to bring this up to about 250, 275 before putting on the beef ribs. Here's our beautiful looking rack of beef ribs. So these beauties are from 44 Farms down in Texas. It's a 3-bone rack. They're super meaty, very nicely marbled. So let's prep them up. So we'll remove the fat and the silver skin on top. So this is the silver looking tissue that's on top, and this won't render down. After it's done cooking, it's going to be very chewy, which is why I like to remove it and expose as much of the meat from the ribs as possible. On the back of the rack there is a thick membrane, but I'm going to leave it on. This will help the ribs kind of hold its shape while they're cooking and they won't fall apart. So let's get started and clean this guy up a little bit. So that's about it for trimming it. So again, just removing that silver skin from the top. The bottom we'll leave as is. Before seasoning these ribs, I'm going to use a little mustard for the binder. So just spread a nice even layer. You can use regular yellow mustard. All I had today is the Dijon mustard, which will work as well. Just cover it nicely so this will help our seasoning stick to the meat. As far as the rub goes, I'm using a 50-50 mix of freshly cracked black pepper and coarse sea salt. This is a very traditional Texas style mix, so we'll cover it on both sides. And that right there will just about do it for the seasoning. So I'm gonna let this sit at room temperature for about 20-30 minutes before throwing it on the big green egg. The egg is sitting at about 260, so it's a good time to throw our beef ribs on. So let's get these guys going. I'm gonna let those guys cook for about 2 hours between 250 and 275. I'm not gonna touch them. I'm just gonna let them sit on the big green egg as is for those 2 hours. After 2 hours, we'll start spritzing them with our mixture of liquid to kind of keep them moist and wet on the outside so they don't dry out. For my spritz, I'm using water, olive oil, Worcestershire, and pickle juice. So this is a nice combination for beef. I like to use this on brisket and on beef ribs. So we are about 2 hours in, so let's take a look and see how our beef ribs are looking. And I must say they are looking really good. So you see the nice bone pull. They're still not ready, far from it, but so far they are looking nice. They do seem a little bit dry on top, so this is a perfect time to start spritzing them after that 2 hour mark. Just give them a nice spray on all sides. Just want them to get nice and wet on the outside, so this will prevent them from drying out. Close the lid and let them continue cooking. After the first spritz, I'm going to come back and spray them every hour or so, just to ensure that they're nice and wet on the outside, prevent them from drying out, and I'll start keeping an eye on the internal temperature. They're going to be done once they hit about 205, 210 internal, but the most important thing on beef ribs is to check for tenderness. They're going to be ready once they're probe tender, meaning my temperature probe will go in like a hot knife into butter. Let's take a look at our beef ribs. Ooh, these guys look awesome. Nice bone pull, nice bark on the outside. They look about ready, but let's check for tenderness, make sure they're probe tender, and then we can pull them off. When checking for tenderness, you want to take your temperature probe and just probe it in a couple different spots. And you want to make sure that it enters without any resistance. You know, that's how you know that all that fat has rendered down inside and that your ribs will be nice and tender once we pull them off. And this thing feels perfect. So again, no resistance, like a hot knife going through butter. Beef ribs are off the big green egg, and as you can see, they look awesome. They are probe tender, very soft, but before we dig in, they have to rest, just like any other barbecue. So I'm gonna wrap them up in this peach butcher paper. Our ribs are wrapped up, so I'm gonna stick these guys in the oven, let them rest for a good hour or so before I cut them open. Our ribs have been resting for a good hour, so I'm gonna take them out. Well, these guys look great. Great bark on the outside. Smell amazing. Let's see how they are inside. Oh yeah, these look awesome. Look how tender that looks. Very juicy, hanging onto the bone by the membrane. Great. So you can see the nice smoke ring right on top. Very, very juicy and tender in the middle. I mean, it's just falling apart from touching it, but still holding its shape. So this is exactly what you're looking for. A lot of that fat that was in the muscles has been rendered down. So that's what we were checking for with the probe for tenderness. These are perfect, as good as can get. The beef ribs look awesome, so there's only one thing left to do, and that's to give them a try. Man, I gotta say, there's just something cool about holding and eating a big old beef rib like this, so let's see how they turned out. Very happy with these. Very, very happy. You get that nice smoke flavor from using the post oak wood chunks. That awesome bark on the outside, which gives it that extra kick, an extra bite to it from using just the salt and pepper. Of course, very tender because we took them a little bit higher in temperature. Very, very good. Oh man, hard to stop eating these. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.